Oslo Alpha Echo Hotel.
Oscar Echo Hotel.
Oslo Alpha Echo Hotel, it looks like there's a stuck mic on the frequency.
8-ra írok meg, 1800. Maximum 220 csomó. Majd lassítok. Hotel Alpha Bravo, November Kilo, final runway 17 left.
Hotel November Kilo, Roger, continue, runway 17 left is free, wind 170 degrees 8 knots.
Runway 17 left, free, Hotel Alpha Bravo, November Kilo.
Matt and I'm Robin, we will fly around the world in our DA50, the silver one, the good looking one out on the ramp. And our goal is to promote sustainable solutions in the field of aviation. So we are convinced that there are already, with our technologies that we have today, so before everything gets electrified or we have planes that fly with hydrogen or anything like that, we have those planes that we have and need to work with them, and we are convinced that there are already quite a few technologies that work and we want to promote them, so yeah, more people use them.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from the technologies, we really want to show how people can invest into them when flying, being it private pilots, being it airline passengers, because there's a lot of really good initiatives out there making use of these technologies, and in our eyes we need to bring up the voluntary motivation for people to join in and make their flight sustainable. With sustainable aviation fuel, it's current days you don't have the availability worldwide, so on a lot of the airports we're actually fueling up, as we're doing here in Békés, we're fueling up conventional fossil Jet A1. But there's virtual systems, book and claim systems, as we're using one from Jet Aviation, which allows you to then actually pay a premium, and that premium will get you sustainable aviation fuel, not into your aircraft, but into the global aviation system. And because we need to tackle climate change all over the world, that still is a very valuable solution.
That's also one reason why we choose to do an Earthrounding, because we think that the solutions need to be implemented worldwide. It doesn't help if one country has this regulation and one has this regulation. It needs to be an effort by the whole world to make aviation more sustainable, because it's a worldwide business. It's depending how you exactly calculate it, but it's always about 2 to 3% of global impact. But you need to keep in mind, if every other sector gets more efficient and reduces their carbon emissions, if aviation does not do anything, their percentage will go up. So yeah, we need to keep track with other fields of technology. So that's...
Yeah, as you say, other sectors are moving. Thankfully are moving into a more sustainable world. Aviation is doing the same. It's just with aviation having all the certification hurdles, which are not just hurdles, they have their valid point of existing. But because of that, it takes a bit more effort to get it done. And so you really need to have money or funds that help these initiatives actually grow, scale up, and become economically viable. And so we want to show that it's not just governments and big entities that can make a push, but it's everyone really that can help these companies and these solutions when they're flying to actually have the funds together to scale up their production of SAF. However, we still need to, or we can still work on fuel efficiency. I mean, the DA50 Diamonds design proves it. you need a very fuel efficient platform to start off, because then you just also need less sustainable aviation fuel to put in it. So that definitely needs to be the push for really fuel efficient aircraft and engines. And then also you have areas where you can improve in terms of operational efficiency. You know, from flying in Europe, Hungary actually is pretty cool on that. You can fly quite direct routes in lower IFR airspace, and that helps to keep the route as short as possible, less flying time, less fuel, less emissions. So that's really also an area where then more the regulators need to make a push to get flying as direct as possible.
Let's talk about the plane. Why Diamond and why the DA50?
Well, Diamond with the DA50, and actually with all their products that they have at the moment, they are using Jet A1, which enables us to, first of all, fuel Jet A1, which is available all over the world. And secondly, then we can use the sustainable aviation fuel where it is available. Yeah, and also, as Matt already said, it's really fuel efficient. So we're cruising around with about 11 gallons per hour.
Plus, you have a lot of space to load all the equipment.
That helps as well, yeah.
You require for an Earthrounding. We're, as you know, departed in January, so we need winter jackets. We need these average jackets for the average temperatures, but then we also have clothes for really warm temperatures, and it just adds up. And we're already cutting it pretty short in terms of what we packed. But yeah, you still end up with a lot of things you need to think of and bring on the trip. So the DA50 with its payload, but also with its cabin space, is quite ideal for that.
I mean, there are a lot of cool airplanes around, but the DA50 it's fast, it's fuel efficient, and it's really easy to fly. So it flies like every other Diamond. It's really stable. Once you have trimmed it for a certain altitude, it will stay at that altitude. You basically don't need to touch the controls anymore, and also to land, it's really easy to land. So we have communication, and additionally we have the satellite weather, so we can have METARs and stuff from our destination in flight, which, yeah, if you're flying for more than 10 hours over an ocean, is quite important to know what's happening at the destination. I mean, you can sit in here even if you're quite big, and you cannot see it too good now because we have so much baggage, but also in the back it's quite comfortable. You have a lot of leg space. That's cool. Yeah, of course, a second engine would add a little bit of safety there, but we need to say that it's a brand new engine, and we are really happy with it. So far it didn't have any problems with any sensor or something, so we're quite comfortable with doing that. You need to trust the engine a bit, but on the other hand, the engine does not know whether it's over land or over water. For the engine, there's no difference there. So yeah, we hope for the best, and we trust the engineers of Continental.
We have a partnership with Diamond where they're supporting the idea, our mission, and definitely also from the technical end, we get a lot of support from Diamond's, their expertise being the manufacturer. The aircraft also doesn't belong to us, we must say that. It belongs to a gentleman in Switzerland who was kind enough to rent it out for us, so we're paying him actually a rental fee. So, and as you mentioned, we're non-profit. We're not trying to gain any money with it. We're trying not to lose as much as possible.
Yeah,
so
that would be the goal.
The mission as such was always pretty linked with Diamond's mindset as a company. So that's where the partnership then actually came about.
To fly is a dream of humanity since we can think of it. I love to fly, so I don't want to give it up, but I'm convinced that we need to do it in a conscious way. So we need to do everything to make it sustainable. That's what we owe, the humanity and our planet. We need to make it sustainable so that we can do it with a good conscience.
Air travel has helped connect the world. I mean, speaking personally, half of my family is from Canada. Without air transport, I wouldn't get to see them in person. And I think what all of us realized during this pandemic, yes, you can perhaps do certain things online, but it just doesn't really replace the human interaction. As Robin says, if we decide to fly, we also need to keep in mind, yes, what we have in terms of emissions. That's why we built the emission calculator, so you know, okay, this is my footprint of this flight, but we want to then also show, okay, this is the solution, for example, to offset, but also to reduce your emissions, and we want to prove with it that it's not that expensive to do something about it.
Hotel Bravo Romeo Tango Tango, lining up runway 17 left, ready for departure.
Tango Tango, runway 17 left is free, wind 170 degrees, 10 knots, no reported traffic.
Taking off runway 17 left on discretion. Hotel Tango Tango.
Rolling okay?
Yes.
Takeoff power is set.
On 6-8 rotate.
Out of usable runway. Brakes pushed, gear up. And 700 feet accelerating. Speed check, flaps up. Power coming reduced and starting the left turn.
Nav marker.
Ja, jag ska se.
Det look for the Diamondo.
And climb to cruise, please.
Time to cruise. Gear.
Is up.
Flaps.
Is up.
Emergency fuel pump is off.
Checked.
Flat power.
Is 90.
Cowl flaps.
Are remaining open.
Alternator.
Is off.
And landing a taxi line.
Remain on.
Climb to cruise completed.
Check. Maybe GoPro's up, showing.
Yes.
Hotel November Kilo at holding point 17 left, ready for departure.
Hotel November Kilo, runway 17 left is free, wind 170 degrees, 10 knots, no reported traffic.
17 left, free, line up and taking off Hotel November Kilo.